Welcome to another episode of You and the Laws of Attraction. My name is Dr. Wendy Dearborne, and I will be your host for the next, 60 minutes. It's been a minute since I've been here, but I'm going to be your host for the next 60 minutes or so. Woo! You and the Laws of Attraction. Guys, it has been almost a year since I have actually recorded and uploaded a podcast. And so much has happened in my life. And some of this I'm going to share with you. So when I say so much has happened in my life. Many changes, and all of them are to the highest good. But that being said, welcome to the show, You and the Laws of Attraction. And today, what I'm going to be talking about is how to let go of everyone and everything that you feel is negative in your life. And this really is an important topic. It's an important subject, primarily because if you are unable to let go of things, people, places, and things that no longer serve you, you're not able to move forward in your life. Nobody says this is easy. I'm not saying this is easy. So, once again, welcome to the show, You and the Laws of Attraction. Now, what is this show all about? This show is about you. It's about me. It's about us. It's about us creating the lives that we want to live, that we are choosing to live through the power of our conscious choice. This show is about us understanding the universal laws, and its laws, plural, not the universal law, the universal laws of attraction. And its laws because the universal law is part of the universal laws. And it's understanding the nuances, guys. And this is the thing, one of the things that's really important, yeah? It's about understanding the nuances. And what I mean by that is a quick synopsis, and then we'll get into the topic. You decide that you want $1 million in your bank account. Okay? Hold on, guys. You decide that you want $1 million in your bank account. And you're doing everything that you're meant to be doing. Everything. You're doing your affirmations, you're doing your visualizations, you're doing everything that you are meant to be doing. And yet, over the last, decade, it hasn't happened. Over the last decade, it truly hasn't happened. But yet still you persevere and you persist, and you're doing this. Well, you see, the thing is, at a core level, you do not believe that you can have $1 million. You do not believe that you are worthy of $1 million. And so therefore, the thing that you believe in is the thing that will manifest for you. Now, can you have it? Yes, you can. What you need to understand is the nuances within the laws that are at play here. You're going to have to do something a little different to get to where it is that you want to be. And so this is why I share with you information, guys, that you can take it or leave it. This is entirely up to you. So this is why I share information with you. You take it, you tweak it, you bend it, you twist it to suit who you are so that you weave it into the fabric of your life. Anything that I tell you, anything that you hear on any podcast that I do, any guest appearance that I make, anything, it's yours to take, to tweak, to twist, to mold, to manipulate, you make it your own. I'm not creating clones here, and you don't want to be a clone. I don't want to be a clone. This is about information. So once again, guys, Welcome to You and the Laws of Attraction. My name's Dr. Wendy Dearborne, and when I say it's been a minute, if I didn't say this already, guys, I'm going to repeat myself. The last time I actually recorded a podcast was August of 2023. Today is July the 6th, 2024, and the hour is 9 a.m. So it's been a minute, guys. I've got lots to share with you. So much growth, so much has happened, and all for the highest good. So that being said, just so that we all remember, every time I say something that I feel has a true nugget in it, and something that I feel that, I really want to impart, you're going to hear this. Okay, guys? You'll hear the bell. Okay? Yay. Right, that's the bell. So welcome, guys. Welcome. Honestly, guys, I feel really rusty. If I haven't said that already, I feel really rusty. But we're going to get through this together, as I said a little while ago. So today's show is about how to let go of everyone and everything that's negative in your life, or that you feel is negative in your life. There are things that have occurred in everyone's life, things that have fundamentally changed who you are and how you show up and the trajectory of your life. It's changed how you fundamentally think and feel about yourself. And sometimes that's all to the highest, sometimes that's all to the highest good, and sometimes it's not, in particular when we're speaking about negativity. So I want to share a story with you. One afternoon, I was having a moan and groan and twitch and switch fest about a situation that had occurred. And I was having difficulty wrapping my head around it. I couldn't understand why this person wouldn't want what they could have, wouldn't want what I could give, wouldn't want a better life. And I was having this huge dilemma. And I was having an internal conversation, as we're apt to do, and then it took me off on these tangents and down these rabbit holes, and it plunged me into some past experiences that are best left forgotten, and I thought that I was over it. Well, my parents happened to be visiting, and this was many years ago, here in Las Vegas, and this was many, many years ago. And my mum, God bless her, she was the unwitting recipient. And she was participating in my drama unwittingly, and I would say unwillingly, but she was the heir. She was there. And she was the recipient of my dramatic, hate-filled, negative, outpouring, woe is me monologue. Now, the outpouring wasn't directed at my mum. Mumsy didn't have anything to do with it, other than her just being an available ear to listen to my rant and rave. Now, at some point during my monologue, I took a much needed breath. And as fast as lightning, or faster than lightning, in the blink of an eye, using what I call her mummy dearest tone, which as a grown woman still has the ability to stop me in my tracks and render me looking somewhat like a deer in a headlight. She called me by my full name. And I was like, crap, okay, right. She has my attention. My mouth is now clamped shut. I'll bet uh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to continue talking, but my mother called me by my name, full name. So even though I wanted to keep venting, I shut up. And my mum simply and very quietly, and for me, rather unemotionally, given how worked up I was, she said, Wendy, can you change any of this? And I was going on about multiple things. She said, can you change anything that has happened? Can you change anything that has already taken place? And like a balloon that had been deflated, unexpectedly deflated. And I really was. I can see this in my mind's eye. I can really envision this. So, like a balloon that has been unexpectedly deflated, I responded, "No, Mum, I can't change anything that's already happened." And my mum, she kind of leaned her head to the side and she looked at me intensely for a hot second. And then she quietly stated, "Then don't waste your time on it." She said, "Spend your time with it, but don't waste your time on it. And use your time basically to create the life that you want to live. Take what you need and let the rest go. Use everything that has happened to you for the betterment of you." You understand me? My mom's Jamaican. Mister, you understand me? "Yes, Mum, I understand you and I understood you." That afternoon in my breakfast nook, right here in my home, I had, I would say, one of the top 5 aha moments that I've had in my life. And that was realization, which is seared. It was seared into my conscious and my subconscious mind. And that realization, that whole thing that my mom said, it has served me well. It has served me well as I've moved forward in my life. I had to, let me ring this here. Yeah. Okay, guys. I had to figure out a way in which my past could support me and support me in moving forward. That's what I had to do. And what I actually figured out is that using my past experiences to support me and move me forward was easy. In fact, very easy. It's really intrinsic to me. It's a natural thing to me. However, the letting go piece of the equation has been one of my biggest challenges in life. So, I could see how what happened, whatever happens or happens in my life, how it can support me. But the letting go portion of it, that's been a huge challenge. I realized that I was very attached and have been very attached to my victimology. At the end of the day, it's my story. Who would I be if I changed my narrative, if I changed my victimology? Who am I if I don't have my story? Who am I if I don't have my story? And I'm not just talking about the good things that have happened, but the things that I consider to be negative have become my glory. They're my story. You see, guys, our stories, mine, yours, everybody's, no matter how painful, hurtful, negative, or uncomfortable, they actually create a sort of bizarre safe space. And they really do. Right, wrong, or indifferent, it's what we know about ourselves. And what we know about ourselves creates a safe place for us to be. And that means that we aren't truly willing to give it up. And we're not truly willing to give it up without a fight. But you see, I had to stop being a victim of my self-made, hear me, self-made victimology. Guys, so many of our lives, that's me, you, that's everyone. So many of our lives are lived with this righteous, indignant, as righteous, indignant victims and victims of our victimology. And just to be clear, guys, it's a victimology, as I just said, that we created in the first place through the choices that we've made. Our experiences, which are choices, are the effects of what we experience in our lives. Yeah? So the effects are driven by the cause. The cause is the choice. The cause is the thing that you chose to do. Now, what I do want to say, and for those of you who are familiar with my work, big disclaimer here, there's no judgment here. There's just, at least my fact, there's no judgment here. So this isn't your victimology and the choices that you are making in life. It isn't about a judgment thing. This isn't about you being right, wrong, casting blames or aspersions on what you should have done, if I would have, should have, could have. None of that, because that's actually not very helpful to you. It simply means that the cause will always be predicated on something that you've chosen to do. Where you are in life is predicated on something that you have chosen to do, and this is a cause. And as you experience the manifestation of your choice or the cause, you will always, always, always experience an effect. You've got cause and effect. You've got action and reaction. You have your choices, and some people like to say consequences. They're all one in the same. So that being said, I had to take control of what I could control in my life. So I decided to take control of my life. I decided that I had taken my life back. I'm taking my life back. I decided that I had taken my life back. Now, this has been over a period of time, but what I decided to do was, with the aid of meditation, and, just let me segue here, guys. Just let me segue right here. With the aid of meditation. Now, meditation is one of the most powerful tools that you have within your spiritual toolbox. Many years ago, I want to say maybe about 13 years ago, my co-host, which was my late sister, Olivia Lashley, she was my co-host, and we had a podcast called I'm sorry, guys, that just hit me, but we did a podcast called Choices. It was surrounding choices, same sort of material, but we did a podcast, and it was literally on your spiritual toolbox and things that you can have within your toolbox that can support you. But one of the major things within your toolbox was and is your ability to meditate. And your ability to meditate and to be able to commune with self at a really sort of visceral level, to be able to commune with yourself and to be able to create internal harmony, to be able to create affirmations, to be able to speak to yourself in an affirmative way. And an affirmation, guys, is literally words spoken in the present tense, not I'm hoping for, not it's happened, but in the now. To be able to make a moving visualization. And these are the things, with the aid of meditation, I was able to do so that I could take control of my life, take my life back. And so in taking my life back, I took it back. And this is what I did. I used meditation, affirmations, moving visualizations. And that was always declaring and giving thanks that the desired end had always been manifested. So whatever I wanted, I gave thanks for that I had it. I began the process of using metaphysical principles known to me as God's laws, spiritual laws, nature's laws, natural laws, or whatever you call them. And even for some, I'll bend here, the universal law. But as you know, as I said at the beginning of the show, at the top of the hour, I was talking about the universal laws, and the universal law is a part of, or the universal law of attraction is a part of the universal laws of attraction. And once again, for all those of you who are familiar with my work, you might know where I'm going with this. As I started my spiritual process of taking my life back, I'll use it this way. But as I started the spiritual process, as I had taken my life back, it started with taking control of my victimology. I had to take control of being a victim. I had to take control of the narrative that I was so comfortable with. I had to take control of my victimology. And I needed that to take my life back. And for those of you who know my work, the first thing that came up was taking ownership, owning every choice that I've made, irrespective of how I got there, irrespective of the influences, irrespective of the situation. I had to first take ownership of my life. I had to take responsibility for the choices that I made. They were mine. And then I had to take accountability for the effects of my choices. And so I had to take ownership, responsibility, and accountability for the outcome of all those choices. Again, guys, I'm here with cause and effect, action and reaction, choice and consequence. And you know, this wasn't about giving lip service or placating self. Because I'm here to tell you, there are some things that have happened in my life that I feel are wrong and that I feel will always be wrong. So hear me again, guys. There are some things that have happened in my life that, irrespective of where I'm at, they were just wrong. They were wrong and will always be wrong. And yet, by taking ownership, responsibility, and accountability for those things that happened, they no longer control me emotionally. They no longer control me physically. They no longer control me mentally. But it doesn't mean that for me, the outcome wasn't wrong. It was wrong. And the same, guys, as you start this work, the same thing will apply to you. Once again, taking ownership, accountability, and responsibility doesn't mean that you condone other people's bad behaviors, other people's heinous, wicked, negativity, hateful, Machiavellian, you name the term, whatever term you want to name. It doesn't mean that you condone that. What it does mean is that you have the ability to control your reaction to them. Now, I want to clarify something for you. Controlling your reaction to a situation doesn't mean stifling, ignoring, pretending, locking down, putting in a box, whatever. It doesn't mean that you tamp down your emotional response. It doesn't mean that you pretend that you're not feeling what you're feeling. It doesn't mean any of that. You see, in truth, it's impossible. It is impossible for you to do that. And I mean, not to have, not, or to try to control your emotions. That's where I'm going. It's impossible for you to control your emotions. You can't. You absolutely can't. And then if you pretend it didn't happen, or you stifle it, or you ignore it, that has the potential to create a whole nother bottomless abyss for you to fall in, down these rabbit holes and off on these tangents. What this does mean is that once you have had your emotional reaction, once you've had this, you're then in a position to choose how you will react or how you will respond to those emotions. And at the end of the day, emotions are literally telling you something, telling you that you either like something or you don't. It's literally telling you either like something or you don't. When you cut everything away, that's what it's telling you. And if you are in tune with yourself, you will actually be able to discern the reason why you don't like it. And I'm not talking about all the drama. I'm talking about the intrinsic reason why this doesn't sit well with you, why there's not a vibrational match for you. So that was the first realization. Ownership, accountability, and responsibility. I already knew about cause and effect, but I'm going to be here. I'm going to be honest. I was giving a certain amount of lip service to that. The second realization I had was that I must forgive myself. And once again, if you know my work, you follow my work, you'll know that I have a whole program on YouTube about forgiving yourself. It's a 21-day program. Easy. It's really easy. I say it's easy. That's not strictly true. For some, and when I first started doing forgiveness work, it was a huge challenge for me. It was really, really hard. When I say that when I first started doing forgiveness work, that I fell on the ground. I literally fell on the ground. Literally. That's how powerful that work was. But anyway, that being said, the second realization that I had was that I must forgive myself. I had to learn how to forgive myself first, so I knew what forgiveness felt like, what it sounded like, what it looked like, even what it tasted like or smelt like. I needed to know this because without conscious and subconsciously knowing and understanding this, I was only paying expensive spiritual lip service to forgiveness. And guys, when I say paying expensive spiritual lip service, spirituality for me is like coinage. Spirituality for me and the working of it is like paying for it. Guys, okay. I'm gonna here we go. I guess I'm hitting my stride, guys. It's really important for me to share this with you. I had written a blog, a post in a group that I belong to, and I said that nothing is free. Absolutely nothing in this world is free. Absolutely nothing. And I didn't actually elaborate too much. And one of my cohorts, if you will, came back and said that I was wrong. And that based on what happened for them, they were able to move to Arizona, and they moved into a mansion and lived there for free for 8 years, and that they really don't charge for business, because they want to give their services away, and a couple of other things. And they added a couple of they added a couple of other things. And when I say nothing's free, I mean there's nothing free in this world. You have to do something. Most people, when you say nothing's free, they automatically think in terms of finances. Yeah. And I wasn't thinking in terms of finances, but that too. But I wasn't actually wholly and solely thinking in terms of finances. I was literally talking about you have to do something to get something. That's like you have to make a choice for something to happen. Even if you make no choice at all, that's still a choice. Nothing is free. And when people talk about money, I'm here to tell you money is just another energetic stream in which you exchange it for something that you want. Nothing is free. You must do something to get something. So this is what I mean by basically by paying expensive spiritual lip service for forgiveness. Once I identified those emotions within me, what it looked like, what it feels like, what it sounds like, what it tastes like, even what it smelled like, the whole 9 yards. Once I was able to identify that emotion within me and what it truly felt like, I was honestly able to forgive myself. And I really was able to forgive myself. And to forgive myself for every choice, every action, every cause I have ever taken in my life. And that's some powerful stuff, guys. That's some powerful stuff. When you are able to forgive yourself for everything, and I mean it, for everything. And then after that, I was able to forgive all others that were associated with the effects or the reaction. Of course, cause and effect, action and reaction, choice and consequence. And usually it involves people. And basically, because you don't like what's happened, what happens is you start looking at people and they become the enemy. You're the victim. It's part of your victimology, and they become the enemy. And so therefore, I was able to forgive, and truly forgive them because I knew what it felt like. And I'm going to tell you another thing, guys. I'm going to share another thing with you today, is that what is so freeing with this type of forgiveness is that there are no strings that bind in this process. What do I mean? Many people say, yeah, I'll forgive, but I won't forget. Right there, there is a string that ties you to the situation, or ties you to people, places, and things. It ties you to that situation. But when you are able to forgive at the level where it truly no longer bothers you, it truly no longer, somebody says something and you're like, yeah, I'm over it. But you're not. When you're able to forgive, and I mean forgive honestly, authentically, and to forgive others with that same intensity and honesty that you forgive yourself with, the only entanglement that you will experience is that everyone in your world will thrive. Everyone will live and thrive and experience their best lives because you will be experiencing your best life too. Okay. The next realization that I had, this is the third one, okay? The third realization I had was to give thanks for the experience and what it brought into my life. Now I'm huge when it comes to thanks and gratitude journaling. I'm huge on that. Thank you can, oh gosh, it a huge, huge. And so then I gave thanks for every experience that I had and what it brought into my life. What okay. I gave thanks for the experience of what it brought into my life. What I had to put aside was my emotional outpouring, right? When I was doing my gratitude work. And what I did was, what I realized was that I didn't like what I felt had been done to me. And as I said, thank you. And I put aside my emotional outpourings, or better yet, I stepped into it. That's what my mother meant when she said, um, you know, be with it. And so as I became one with my emotional outpouring, and I wasn't trying to beat myself around the head because, I was still emotional. And I know I didn't like what I felt had been done to me. However, I needed to recognize, as I said, thank you, that I must look at what had happened as something that had been done for me. To me, for me. For me, to me. Understanding the nuance between something being done to you and something being done for you is huge. It's absolutely huge. It has the ability to take you from being a victim and changing your victimology, because life is happening for you. It's not happening to you. It's happening for you. I could then use, once I'd done that, guys, I could then use gratitude to its fullest power. I'm now grateful for the situation. I'm grateful that the situation has allowed me to grow and become a better evolving version of myself. And you see, with the gratitude, it also cancels things out like, oh, I really shouldn't have made that choice. Oh, woe is me. It cancels all of that out. I'm grateful once again, guys, for the fact that this situation has allowed me to grow and become a better evolving version of myself. One of the things I absolutely adore about the universal law of gratitude, like the universal law of forgiveness, like the universal laws of accountability, responsibility, and ownership. One of the things I love, excuse me, about these laws, especially about the universal law of gratitude, it's much like the universal solvent of the world, which is water. And when used authentically and correctly, when it's directed and used correctly, the universal law of gratitude can neutralize and harmonize all situations. Now, this, my friends, was the letting go process. All the above that I shared with you just now. Gratitude, forgiveness, ownership, accountability, responsibility, all of that. Yeah. That was the letting go process. And this was created for me, by me, with my higher self, my God mind, the universal creator, spirit, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, whatever it is, your chosen deity. Yeah. So this was created with my higher self through meditation, as I said, through extensive meditation. And it worked well. It really did. Or at least those were my initial thoughts. However, there were these little and sometimes not so little, but definitely unexpected, explosive relapses here and there. You know, the kind of thing where it leaves you thinking things that make you say, you're kind of perplexed, and your brows all furrowed, and it's like, wait, what? I thought I was done with this. I thought this part of my life was over. Where the heck did this come from? I'm over this. And after having several of those sort of little and very large, unexpected, explosive relapses, I realized that my process was incomplete. And so I went back to the drawing board with what I had, and I went back into meditation. And I was I'll be really honest, I was a little bit ticked. Really, I was a little bit ticked off, to be honest with you, because I'm like, I thought I was done with all of this. But you see, as my mum says, as Mumsy says, nothing before its time, and everything in its time, and everything has its place within space, within our screen of space. So once again, I realized that the process that I had was incomplete. So I went into meditation, and I realized that during my process of forgiveness, during my process of gratitude, during my process of ownership, accountability, and responsibility, and all the work that went with that, I had created a void or a vacuum. And as Aristotle says, nature abhors a vacuum. Now, one of the things I think is really funny is that today's physicists, with the intention of debunking this particular truth or theory, and I believe it to be a truth and an immutable fact, an immutable truth, unchangeable. I know that energy moves into form and out of form. And in order for energy to move into form and out of form, it needs space, a vacuum, or a void to do so. So physicists, you might want to start there. I think quantum physicists have a different take on it. But that being said, you cannot change cannot take place without you first creating the space for it to come in. And creating a space for it to come into being. Ergos, the universal law of space. That's what was missing. That's what was missing. One of the major contributing elements to the universal law of space is that any space created must be filled. Okay, guys? Any space created, it must be filled. And if you don't consciously fill it with something that is a strong desire or something that is a strong belief, if you don't fill it with that and something new, I'm going to say something new, the old will come back and reclaim its spot. Ergo, the relapses. Some little explosions, some major explosions. These were relapses. And they were relapses because I didn't fill that space with what I wanted to come into my reality, what I wanted to manifest. And you see, everything for me is a living, breathing thing. All right, guys. So once again, I'm just going to backtrack here. I realized that I hadn't filled the space that I had created with my gratitude and my forgiveness. I realized I hadn't filled that space. And so things that I thought that I had let go came back to reclaim that spot. Now, everything is for vying for life. I'm going to put it that way. Living, breathing thing. So when it comes back, it becomes more tenacious. Yeah. It's like when people lose weight, most people don't understand that when they lose weight, if it's not done in a metaphysical way, engaging the universal laws and making sure the universal law of space has been filled with what you want, you're going to gain weight back, and it's going to come back, and it's going to be more tenacious. For your trouble, you'll get 20 odd pounds. For all that weight you lost, and there again, this wording. See, I was finding it difficult to say that word. For all the weight that you lost. No, when you have loss, it's indicative of wanting to find something. So for all the weight that you shed and you gave back to the universe, you gave that energy back to the universe so it could be transmuted into gratitude, transmuted into love. You didn't put that in the space. So within the process, I learned that letting go of people, places, and things to change my victimology wasn't only about ownership, responsibility, and accountability. It wasn't about forgiveness and gratitude. It wasn't even about me and the situation I caused by my choices. Yeah? What the outcome, actually, or even what the outcome was teaching me as I would grow and evolve. You see, all of this, it doesn't mean a thing. And it didn't mean a thing, because I didn't put anything in its place. I didn't put anything in the space. I didn't. The space had to be filled with something that I wanted to manifest. Something that I wanted to be blessed with, something that I wanted the universal creator to present me with. It had to be filled. It had to be filled. And it had to be filled with something that I was wanting now. And when you use these kind of principles, when you use these methodologies, your life is about the now. Your life is about the present. It's not about the future. It is about the now. So, guys, once again, for all of those who know me, I have literally come full circle. I've come full circle. For those of you who know my work and you're familiar with my work, for those of you who are my clients and you experience my brand of coaching, if you will, I've returned us to my golden question, and the most powerful intrinsic question, at least I feel, that you can ask yourself is, what are you wanting for your life in this moment? What are you wanting just for you? And I literally mean just for you. Not what you think you should do, not what you've been told you should do, not what is politically correct for you to do, not because of a sense of duty, none of that. I'm talking about, what are you wanting for you, just for you in this moment? And once you can answer that question, and the relief of truly wanting, and the relief of truly letting unwanted situations go, this too can be okay. All right, I'll phrase it this way. All right, you've answered the question, and we're going to say that what you are wanting to experience in this now, this moment, in this now, in this moment, is to feel the relief of letting go unwanted situations, people, places, and things. You're wanting this so you can move forward unencumbered and manifest. You need to put something new in there and manifest your new desire. You've made space because energy moves into form and out of form. So you've made space. So once you've answered that question, you've made that space. You don't want, those little and large unexpected explosions and relapses, or explosions of relapses. You don't want that back in your life. And so for you, you need to continue on with your dialogue, your intrinsic dialogue. So now you've answered the question. Okay, guys, you want to experience now in this moment the relief of letting unwanted situations go, people, places, and things, etc. So now you need to continue on. And so what I'm going to say to you is this: paint yourself a picture. Paint yourself a mental picture. Paint yourself a picture engaging all your senses around the thing that you are wanting, the thing that you want to manifest, the blessing that you want, the universal creator known to me as God to bring and give to you. Engage all your senses. And to do that, you must choose to invoke another law, and that's the law of your imagination. Most people do not use their imagination for truly what it's there for. They let their imagination run wild. So invoke the universal law of imagination. Choose to step into that realm and make yourself a moving visualization. Make yourself a moving visualization so that you know what you want and you are giving thanks for what you want before it's even manifested, And when I say a moving visualization, guys, I actually have a webinar on that. I know that, people make vision boards and they'll affirm to keep it alive and well. And, they'll see the house, get in the car and drive the car and all of that. And that's all to the highest. I'm talking about moving visualization. You need to become the car. If you're talking about you want a house, I used to break it down. Well, I would break it down and say, what do the walls feel like? Is your bedroom wall north facing or south facing? Is your bedroom wall where you have your bed, your bed head? Is it cool to touch? What do the walls feel like? You've got paint on the wall. What's the color? Is it blue? Is that cool to touch? Is it pink? Is that warm? Is it yellow? Does that inspire you? What does it feel like when you touch this color on the wall? What do your windows feel like? You are looking from the inside out. What can you see? How far can you see? Your visualization needs to be moving. As you walk through your home and the sun comes through the window, can you see the dust motes flying about? The little dust angels, can you see these? Don't just see the house, be the house and everything in the house. So again, now that you know what you want, engage your senses to that degree. And you only have to do that once. You only have to do that once. But guaranteed, you need to know without a shadow of a doubt what this thing you want feels like. What this thing you want, what does it look like? This thing that you want, what does it sound like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like to believe that it's yours? What does it really feel like to believe that it's yours? What would make you believe that it's yours? What does that feel like? And what's your intuition saying to you, if anything? And what does saying thank you for this manifestation, what does it feel like? How do you feel when you say thank you for this manifestation? It hasn't come into form yet. I take that back. It hasn't come into tangible form. It's in intangible form. Before you even said you wanted it, it had already been created in intangible form. All of this is bringing it into tangible form when you can touch it, feel it, squeeze it, the whole 9 yards. So what does saying thank you, what does gratitude for this manifestation feel like? What does that sound like to you? To be thankful for this thing, for your health, for your wealth, for relationships, for world peace, for harmony. What does that feel like? Or what does it look like to you? What does gratitude feel like to you? Use your imagination. Use your 5 senses. I say your 6 senses, including your intuition. Use all of them to create a moving visualization of what it is that you want. And once again, you only ever have to do that once. Once you've done it and done it properly, you'll remember. And so when you do your daily affirmations, when you do your daily gratitude, when you take ownership, accountability, and responsibility, and if I didn't say this before, forgiveness for me is something I do daily, because people be really getting on my last nerve, quiet as it's kept. All right? I ain't going to lie about that. Yeah. So forgiveness is something that I work on daily because of the choices that I make. And because of how I react to my emotions. I can't control my emotions. But once they are up and out, once I have emoted, I can control what I choose to do and use them for. Actually, in speaking to a friend of mine the other day, Steva says, most people are running from their emotions. And she's so right, instead of to them. Most people spend all their lives running from their emotions and or trying to change them, trying to manipulate them into being something that they can't be other than what they are. And once again, your emotions show you how you feel about something. So create your image, your moving visualization in your mind. Use the universal law of imagination. Next to meditation, for me, and I tell you, they're really, really close. Imagination is right up there. So use it. So the last piece of the puzzle regarding the universal law of space, which was given to me, it really locked down the entire process of letting go of people, places, things, situations, so that I could change my victimology. You get to choose. It's a choice to change from being a victim or to be a victor by the process of letting go. But again, guys, replace what you don't want with what you do want. Now, is this easy? For me, in full disclosure, it depends on how freaking ticked I am about a situation or with a person or thing, etc. So in full disclosure, and here's something, something, let me just ring this bell, my guys. Okay, guys, is it easy? Once again, it all depends on what the situation is. But in full disclosure, I give myself permission to be angry. I give myself permission to be sad. I give myself permission to be angry, frustrated, mean, resentful, spiteful, Machiavellian, manipulative. I give myself permission to do all of that and or have a full-blown adult tantrum or a knockdown drag out, and be under no illusion. I'm doing what I do, but I can and I will go there sometimes. However, as I've said, I do realize that all the emotional outpouring that is happening, all those feelings, all those negative feelings, are simply telling me something that I already know. It's telling me in no uncertain terms that I don't like what is happening to me. What did I tell you guys? It's telling me that I need to flip the script. It's telling me that I need to make sure that I understand that what has happened is happened for me. I need to understand that this has happened because I have chosen it. Do not become a victim, Wendy, by saying, by blaming myself or casting aspersions or talking down to myself or beating myself. This isn't about that. It's about using what has happened and making it work for me so that I can evolve and become who it is, or the next version of me. It's about me living the life that I want to live unencumbered. So guys, I really hope that this has been helpful to you. Once again, it started out by owning the situation, taking responsibility for my 100% in the situation, and being accountable for the fallout, for the reaction, owning it all. It's about forgiving myself for the choices or the choice that I made. And in doing so, forgiving people, that's the usual thing, places and things associated with the effects, and being able to authentically forgive them. And then you back it up by gratitude, by saying thank you for the situation and recognizing that life isn't happening to you. Your choices and the effects of those choices are happening for you. It's about also knowing what you want and taking time to define what you want so that you can put that in the space that is created by all the work that you have done. Otherwise, as I said, the old will come back and reclaim that space, and it becomes very tenacious. So guys, it's been a bit rusty for me. It's been interesting. I haven't done this, as I said, in almost a year. But it feels good to be back in front of the mic, to be sitting here and sharing wisdom, or my brand of wisdom and knowledge. Once again, take from this what works for you, leave what doesn't work for you. If none of it works for you, then hey, it's all to the highest good. I'm not here to force you to do anything. I'm not here to make clones and or clowns of anybody. Well, guys, you have been listening to You and the Laws of Attraction. And today we've been talking about how to let go of everyone and everything that's negative in your life. My name is Dr. Wendy Dearborne, and I thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today.